Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Buckeye Brainiacs Bowl, brought to you by Owens Community College. I'm Mason Lowry, delighted to really get into the teeth of round number 2. A couple of terrific teams that won their games in emphatic fashion earlier in the year, Danbury and Bowling Green. Guys, good luck. Cannot wait to see what we have in store for this one. Before we dig into the buzz-in round, though, let's let these guys introduce themselves.
Astrid Hoblob, senior.
Miles McDonald, junior.
Eva Hoblob, sophomore.
Ethan McDonald, sophomore.
Miranda Erdsinian, sophomore.
Austin Frank, sophomore.
Ariana Chung, junior.
Cole Boswell, junior.
Mason Koneski, senior.
Owen Hauk, junior.
Welcome to the buzz-in round.
In the buzz-in round, both teams will have their buzzers in hand. Teams buzzing in and answering correctly will receive 10 points. If they answer incorrectly, they will lose 10 points. Good luck.
I hate to interrupt Bowling Green's endless game of rock, paper, scissors, but we're going to dive into the buzz-in round right now, which is brought to you, as always, by Unison Health and the Mental Health Board of Lucas County. And remember, guys, when this round and all other rounds end, here's the sound. There we go. 3 minutes on the clock, and that time begins right now. Name this object discovered by Asaph Hall, the larger of Mars' 2 moons. Bowling Green.
Phobos.
Correct. What brutal Central African dictator was known for his trademark leopard print fez? Anything? Stylish guy, that Mobutu Sese Seko of Zaire. Name this traditional music genre whose revival was led by men like Woody Guthrie and Bob Dylan. Danbury.
Folk.
Correct. What fictional chemistry teacher shoots Jack Welker to avenge the death of his brother-in-law? Bowling Green.
Walter White.
Correct. Before playing Walter White on Breaking Bad, Bryan Cranston played Patriarch Hal for 7 years on what Fox sitcom? Danbury.
Malcolm in the Middle.
Correct. A series of black pourings were painted by what artist, who also depicted a series of blue poles created through his abstract expressionist style of action painting? Anything? Looking for Jackson Pollock. The al-Assad family is highly involved in what internal conflict in a country led from Damascus? BG.
Syria.
Yeah, the Syrian Civil War, correct. The Tarquins descended from what people who spoke a pre-Indo-European language and were early rivals of Rome? Anybody want to take a guess? Guessing not. The Etruscans. What sports announcer famously asked, "Do you believe in miracles?" after the U.S. hockey team upset the Soviet Union in 1980? Give up. Al Michaels. What creatures common in indigenous Pacific Northwest cultures create lightning by flashing their eyes and their namesake phenomenon by flapping their wings? A lot of conferring, but we'll move on. It's Thunderbirds. A 1970 anti-war protest led to National Guard troops fatally shooting 4 students at what Ohio University? BG. Kent State is correct. Whose son was kidnapped and killed by Bruno Richard Hauptmann 5 years after he completed the first solo transatlantic flight? Was the Lindbergh baby that was stolen, so Charles Lindbergh. The Sega CD and 32X were unsuccessful add-ons to what other gaming console? Danbury.
Sega Genesis.
Correct. And that's time just under the gun. So that gets Danbury within 10 points of Bowling Green. A close one, exactly what I expected with these two great teams. Bowling Green up by 10. Danbury will go first in the volley round after this.
Buckeye Brainiacs Bowl on BCSN is presented by Owens Community College. Your success starts here. Apply today at owens.edu. Buckeye Brainiacs Bowl on BCSN is presented by Owens Community College, home to Northwest Ohio's #1 nursing college. Welcome to the volley round. The volley round, the first question goes to the team with the lowest score. If they answer correctly, they are awarded 10 points, and the next question goes to the opposing team. If any team answers a question incorrectly, the opposing team gets a chance to answer that question and still receive their question. Good luck.
Welcome back to Brainiacs Bowl. Time for the volley round where the questions go back and forth. Danbury, you're not behind by much, just by 10, 40-30 against Bowling Green. But since you are behind, you get the crack at the first question in the volley round, which begins right now. What event began with the election of Alexander Dubček as first secretary and took place in the capital of Czechoslovakia?
Czechoslovakian Civil War.
No, sorry. Bowling Green?
Checking Revolution.
Checking Revolution.
The Prague Spring is the correct answer. BG, this is for you. Ocean acidification is caused by what compound's dissolution in water, producing carbonic acid?
Salt.
Sorry, no. Danbury?
Calcium carbonate.
Carbon dioxide. Danbury, what king's disastrous invasion of Russia in the Great Northern War led to the fall of the Swedish Empire?
Gustav III.
No, sorry. BG?
Pass.
Charles XII. BG, which Italian composer wrote the operas The Barber of Seville and William Tell?
Pass.
It's Rossini. Danbury, The Castle of Otranto was the first novel in what literary genre characterized by elements of terror and the supernatural and is named after a style of architecture?
Gothic.
Correct. BG, what 1954 court case overturned Plessy v. Ferguson and led to the desegregation of schools?
Brown
Brown
v.
v.
Ward.
Correct. All in unison. Danbury, on what holiday might people throw bread or pebbles into running water to cast off their sins?
Christmas.
No. BG?
Maybe Yom Kippur.
Rosh Hashanah.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
BG, what future Chief Justice of the Supreme Court served as President John Adams' Secretary of State?
Is it Jefferson? Marshall? Okay, go ahead.
Marshall.
Correct. Danbury, sorry, I just read that one. What constant times frequency equals a photon's energy? What constant times frequency equals a photon's energy?
Speed of light.
No. BG?
Is it Planck's?
Correct. BG, which president, once the Secretary of the Northwest Territory and Governor of the Indiana Territory, infamously died after only 31 days in office?
Oh, Harrison.
Harrison is correct. Danbury, what opera titled for an Ethiopian princess was composed by Giuseppe Verdi?
Pass.
The pass. Pass.
BG?
I don't remember.
No clue.
Aida. BG, what author's best-known works were Stuart Little and Charlotte's Web?
Oh, E.B. White.
Yeah.
E.B. White is correct. Danbury, Logan Sargent was the most recent American to participate in what motorsport competition?
F1.
Formula One is correct. And that's time. Danbury doing a good job of hanging in there. You're only trailing Bowling Green right now by 40. Bowling Green with 90. Danbury with 50. We'll move into the lightning round. That's where the real fun begins after this.
Buckeye Brainiacs Bowl on BCSN is presented by Owens Community College, home to Northwest Ohio's #1 nursing college. Buckeye Brainiacs Bowl on BCSN is brought to you in part by Unison Health and the Mental Health and Recovery Services Board of Lucas County, reminding you that it's your time, your choice. Welcome to the Lightning Round. In the Lightning Round, each team gets 3 minutes to answer as many questions as possible. 10 points will be awarded for each correct answer. This round will begin with the team that has the lowest score. Good luck.
Well, time for the lightning round in this close game. Danbury gets first crack at it, down by 40 points. The floor is yours, guys, for the next 3 minutes. And we'll begin that 3 minutes right now. Name this alkali metal, which is below sodium on the periodic table with atomic number 19 and the symbol K.
Potassium.
Correct. The flight to Varennes from Paris saw the capture of what queen who was executed by guillotine during the French Revolution?
Marie Antoinette.
Correct. Richard III's House of York fought the House of Lancaster in what floral-named war?
War of Roses.
War of the Roses, correct. Cadbury was one of the first to make chocolate versions of what object?
Eggs.
Correct. The Expediency Discernment Council gained power in what country under Mahmoud Ahmadinejad?
Iraq.
Sorry, it's Iran, the other one. Name these statements denoted H sub naught that are rejected if a result is statistically significant.
Pass.
It's a null hypothesis. What people's ethic were studied in a famous book by Max Weber?
Pass.
Protestants. What thought experiment asks if the central object of a mythological hero is the same even after all of its parts had been
The
replaced?
ship of Theseus.
Correct. Name this language used to write the Golden Ass and the Satyricon.
Pass.
Latin. Satyricon, La Dolce Vita, and 8.5 are films by what groundbreaking Italian movie maker?
Pass.
Federico Fellini. What artist states, "I'm selfish, I know, I can't let you go," and "don't find no one better" on her song Happier?
Pass.
Olivia Rodrigo. What deity's mourning of her daughter for part of the year gave rise to the seasons?
Demeter.
Correct. Which author wrote A Sound of Thunder and a novel about the settlement of Mars, The Martian Chronicles?
Pass.
Ray Bradbury. What term is given to corrupt governments that use political power to misappropriate wealth and resources from its own people?
Tyranny.
Kleptocracy. Name the 6-carbon sugar with the formula C6H12O6.
Pass.
Glucose. The comedian George Carlin hosted the first episode of what long-running late-night program?
SNL.
Correct. The 4 C interludes were composed by Benjamin Britten for what opera about a fisherman?
Pass.
It's called Peter Grimes. Which American cause advanced by the Pendleton Act of 1883 was fought over between the stalwart and half-breed Republican factions?
Pass.
Civil service reform. Name the sister of Jem and daughter of Atticus, the narrator of To Kill a Mockingbird.
Scout.
Correct. A revival of what improv comedy show currently airs on the CW?
Pass.
Whose line is it anyway? In what state did Dorr's rebellion result in expanded suffrage but still prevented members of the Narragansett tribe from voting?
Native Americans.
It was in Rhode Island. A blacksmith works primarily with what metal?
Iron.
Correct. What does the academic degree MLS stand for? That's time. It was Master of Library Science. Well, you made up a heck of a lot of ground there, guys. You now have a 50-point lead on Bowling Green, but Bobcats, your 3 minutes begins now. During the administration of which president did tensions in the Midwest erupt into bleeding Kansas?
Pass.
Franklin Pierce. Who is the NBA's all-time leading rebounder with 23,924?
Shaq.
Wilt Chamberlain. What river was famously crossed by George Washington in a painting by Emanuel Lutze? The Delaware is correct. Name this philosophical attitude that claims that knowledge is uncertain.
Pass.
Skepticism. What pop artist's museum opened in his hometown of Pittsburgh in 1994?
Warhol.
Correct. Who says, "I have always relied on the kindness of strangers" at the end of A Streetcar Named Desire?
Pass.
Blanche Dubois. Who is the only person to serve as both President of the United States and a Supreme Court Justice?
Adams.
No, it's Taft. What Ottoman Sultan overcame the Theodosian walls with cannons, conquering Constantinople?
Pass.
Mehmed the Conqueror, or Mehmed II. According to an Eagles song, from where can you check out anytime you like, but you can never leave?
Hotel California.
Correct. Puts and calls are the 2 types of what assets that give the buyer the choice to buy a stock at a fixed price at a later date?
Pass.
They're options. If meat and dairy are mixed in the preparation of a meal, it cannot have what status?
Kosher.
Correct. Convection in the outer core generates what force field that makes compasses, point north?
Magnetic.
The Earth's magnetic field. I'll accept that. Sergei Shukin commissioned a painting by which artist which shows 5 red nudes with interlocking hands?
Picasso.
Matisse. What character is made to wear the title mark of adultery in The Scarlet Letter?
Pass.
Hester Prynne. What man jokingly proposed eating Irish children to combat famine in A Modest Proposal?
Pass.
Jonathan Swift. What behavioral psychologist conducted the infamous Little Albert experiment?
Schrödinger.
Watson. Pilaf and risotto are preparations of what grain?
Pass.
Rice. What former president was also an influential figure in the field of mining engineering?
Pass.
Herbert Hoover. What structure is composed of polysaccharides like cellulose?
Lipids.
The cell wall. What medieval thinker formulated the doctrine of double effect?
Pass.
Thomas Aquinas. An author from what country titled a novel for babies born around the time of its independence called Midnight's Children?
Pass.
India. My Fair Lady is an adaptation of what play by George Bernard Shaw?
Pass.
Pygmalion. Sears Tower, the Chrysler Building, and the Guardians of Traffic pylon in Cleveland were built in what architectural style?
Modern.
Art Deco. What word originates from a 1944 film in which George deceives Paula into believing she is a kleptomaniac, in part by dimming the lamps when he
Gaslighting.
leaves? Correct. What successor state of the Mongols named... And we're out of time. Well, Bowling Green, you overcame some extremely difficult questions to take a 10-point lead over Danbury with 1 round remaining. We'll have the final challenge round in just a moment.
Buckeye Brainiacs Bowl on BCSN is presented by Owens Community College. Your success starts here. Apply today at owens.edu. Buckeye Brainiacs Bowl on BCSN is presented by Owens Community College, home to Northwest Ohio's #1 nursing college. This is the final challenge. Now it's time for the final challenge. Teams will once again have their buzzers in hand. Any team buzzing in with a correct answer will receive 10 points. If the team that buzzed in answers incorrectly, the opposing team gets a chance to answer that same question and gain 10 points. Good luck.
Well, this is as close as it gets. It's just a 10-point game. That's 1 question difference between Bowling Green and Danbury. Bowling Green has the lead as we go into the final challenge round, which, as a reminder, is brought to you by Unison Health and the Mental Health Board of Lucas County. Hands on buzzers. You guys are way ahead of me. You've got 4 minutes, and that 4 minutes begins now. Name the deity who says, "I am become death, destroyer of worlds," in the Bhagavad Gita. Danbury.
Vinishu?
Say again.
Vinishu?
Rich? No. No, sorry, can't accept it. Bowling Green?
Nishu?
Say again.
Nishu.
No, it was Krishna or Vishnu we could have accepted. What suburb partly names Seattle's International Airport and names Toyota's pickup truck line? Danbury.
Tacoma.
Correct. What school of philosophy whose members include Marcus Aurelius emphasizes indifference to pleasure and pain? Danbury.
Stoicism.
Correct. Well done. As a medication, what molecule can treat irregular heartbeats and anaphylaxis? Danbury.
Epinephrine.
Sorry, no. Looking for the molecule. Bowling Green. BG?
Acetaminophen.
No, it's adrenaline. What state's congressional delegation includes Jared Golden and Susan Collins? Danbury.
Kentucky.
Sorry, BG?
Wisconsin?
No, it's Maine. The narrator of what novel laments how people do not ever come back when they go to Johannesburg? Anything? We'll move on then. It's Cry, the Beloved Country. Hungary was defeated by the Ottomans at the siege of what city in 1521, resulting in most of the Balkans falling into Ottoman control? Danbury.
Siege of Budapest.
No, sorry. Bowling Green? It's Belgrade. Who became president after the assassination of Abraham Lincoln and subsequently...
Jackson.
BG? Say again?
Jackson.
Sorry, I'll read the question in full. I may not have to. Danbury?
Johnson.
Andrew Johnson is correct. In hockey culture, what three different acts make up a Gordie Howe hat trick? Danbury.
A goal, assist, and a block.
No, sorry, BG.
Pass.
Block isn't hockey enough. A goal, an assist, and a fight. Name this chemical state in which there is no net reaction. Danbury.
Inert.
No, sorry, BG.
Equilibrium.
Equilibrium is correct. A site in what city called El Caracol was where Kukulkan served as the dedicatee of its large El Castillo pyramid? Danbury.
Peru.
Sorry, BG.
Texacolado?
Chichen Itza, specifically. The Vistula River runs through what European capital? Danbury.
Vienna.
No, sorry, BG.
Pass.
Warsaw?
Rich? Should I accept? We'll accept that. Warsaw is correct. In the year 2000, dictator Alberto Fujimori fled to Japan from what country?
Laos.
No, sorry. BG?
Cambodia?
Sorry, now would have been the time for Peru. Name this first Holy Roman Emperor to not be crowned by the Pope who shares his name with the deposed...
Julius Caesar.
Sorry. Bowling Green, a deposed emperor of Mexico. They share a name.
Perez?
Maximilian. What state's cuisine includes poke bowls and poi, which might... BG?
Japan.
No. What state's cuisine includes poke bowls and poi, which might be eaten at a luau? Danbury.
Hawaii.
That's the one. What European... We are out of time, and that decided the game right there. Wow! To the final question in the final seconds, Danbury. Mike, bravo, you guys. Well done. And a Bowling Green as well. Just a phenomenal 2 games we've seen from you this season. Awesome job. Danbury, from all the way the eastern end of Ottawa County, they've come to Northwood, and they've won not once but twice. Excellent job by the Lakers. I know we've had a wonderful time here in the studio today. I hope you've enjoyed it at home. Thanks for watching.